watching this video, chances are you're experiencing one of the deepest pains that a grandmother can face, being kept from your grandchildren. The silence and all of that, the missed holidays, the birthdays, the unanswered messages, I can just imagine what that feels like, the pain. While I am not estranged from my grandchildren, nor have been, I do have 2 granddaughters, and I can't even imagine that pain. Y'all know I have experienced firsthand having been estranged from my own daughter for many years. Today on this video, I want to touch base with you moms who are navigating this with your grandchildren, because I have several clients feeling the same way. So let's dive in. Number 1, let's talk about the double loss, because that's what this is. Being estranged from your adult child is painful enough, right? But when it also means losing access to your grandchildren, the grief must feel insurmountable, compounded. It's not just one loss, it's 2 or 3 or 4 or more. I worked with a grandmother one time, someone who had some grandchildren, and she told me, it's like I lost my daughter, but now I feel like I'm losing my identity as a grandma too. You always envision being part of your grandchildren's lives and helping them with school projects and attending the games and all of that, reading bedtime stories. You know, every day felt like another loss for her. And the longer I do this coaching, I'm meeting more and more moms who are being separated from their grandchildren, sometimes as a tactic, as a strategy on their adult son or daughter's part, which breaks my heart for you and for those children. So how do you cope with this? First of all, I want you to know that you do need to acknowledge that this grief is real, because that's what it is. It's grief. And it's okay to mourn the relationship you hope to have. So give yourself permission to feel all the emotions that come with it. You're going to feel anger. You're going to feel sadness, maybe guilt. These are normal responses to such a deep loss. But I want you to recognize that healing and walking through this doesn't mean forgetting or giving up hope. It means learning how to live fully, even in the midst of the pain. But we need to acknowledge our feelings because they're very real. And I don't want you to think that there's something wrong with you because you're feeling that way. Number 2 is, how do you cope on those special days, the birthdays, the holidays, the other milestones, especially the sadness? Those holidays can bring an intense wave of sadness. You might even wonder if someone who has maybe shared a gift or a card in the mail, did they open it? Do they even remember me? You know, the absence is just magnified during these special times, these moments. And one thing that I wanted to mention is one way that I've been able to help moms through the years with this that has been successful, doesn't take away all the pain, but it's something that you can do is, you know, some of you are able to buy those cards. Some of you are able to send gifts and they're received. Whether you hear something or not, they are received. One thing that some moms do is start a savings account, and any money that they would have bought a gift, they put that money into this account so that when you do come back together, you're able to either provide that dollar amount to the children or buy them something or whatever you choose to do with it. That is something. Another coping strategy is journaling and writing to these kids, writing to your grandson, writing to your granddaughter. And I know a lot of moms that are doing that currently. And it does somehow give them a little bit of reprieve in their sadness, because they believe that one day these kids are going to get these. I don't know if it's going to be next month or next year, but you'll be able to share that with the kids. And I think that's a beautiful thing. Absolutely beautiful thing. So, but you do have to celebrate in your own way. And maybe you aren't able to see them on their birthdays, but maybe you bake a cake. Maybe you do something that makes you feel connected to them. And if you are able to send small gifts, you know, I would. Personally, I'm not telling you what to do, but personally, I would. If I had the option, I would do it. You're going to know if they're returned, then you would know not to do that anymore. For those of you moms navigating this with your adult children, you're feeling overwhelmed and disconnected, and I want to offer you a break to focus on you. I want to personally invite you to my Empowered Mom Retreat happening April 26th and 27th here in Ellenton, Florida, on the Gulf Coast of Florida. There's a whole bunch of information we can send to you, but it's a weekend designed for moms just like you. We're going to step away, gain some clarity, and connect with other moms, including myself, who truly understand your journey. So I look forward to seeing you there. I want you to click the link below for more information. I can't wait to meet you all in person. Let's dive into number 3, balancing the legal rights. I just want to touch on this. I am not an expert in this, nor am I recommending you do this, but I just want you to know that depending on where you live, it might be an option. A lot of people ask me, do I have legal rights to see my grandchildren? I don't know the answer to that. I know some states have grandparent visitation laws, but I want you to consider pursuing legal action can sometimes cause more division and strain on these fragile family relationships. Not saying you should or shouldn't do it, just keep that in mind. That is something that many people have asked. How do you do that? Like the coping strategy. I want you to think about what could you do before taking legal steps? Could you possibly create more barriers to future reconciliation? If you took a step back and thought, okay, if I go this route legally, what's going to happen? What are the chances that your son or daughter is going to forgive you for that? We want a non-confrontational presence. We don't want the kids in the middle, but at the same time, there's a reason that law exists. So feel free to look into that where you live. If you are blocked from direct contact, try to stay connected in other ways. Maybe there are extended family members who might share some updates, not on their day-to-day life, but knowing that everybody's okay and the grandkids are good. Maybe they're involved in certain sports or whatnot. Just trying to keep that hope alive. And that takes me into number 4, finding joy, right? We have to keep this hope alive. Being kept from your grandchildren doesn't mean putting your life on hold. Someone said to me just the other day on a discovery call, she said, I was someone before I was a mom. I was someone before I was a grandma. And I have to be able to move forward with or without them. And as hard as that is, I can understand that. I did the same thing, minus the grandchildren piece. But you know what? You do. You do have to be able to move forward. You have to stay strong for the day that reconciliation happens. Because I'm believing that for you. You may not be believing that right now, and it may not look like it's even close, but you don't know that that's true. And so I want you to think about that. Maybe you were even able to volunteer, library, reading to other people's kids, or pouring love into other people's children who need a grandma presence in their life. It's going to give you a sense of purpose and bless someone else at the same time. So just remember to mind your coping strategies, right? Stay connected with people who understand, people who walk alongside you, all of that. Journal, write letters, record videos for your grandchildren. Even though they may not see them right now, they might one day. Losing access to your grandkids, I can't even imagine, and it's a heartbreaking experience, but it doesn't mean the love that you have for them stops. So I want you to remember that you can still be a loving grandmother in ways that honor your relationship, even from a distance, in some small way, shape, or form. I hope this helps you in some way. I will see you in the next episode. God bless.